Guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. Legion Remix is finally here, and it's a piece of content that I personally have been waiting for and been excited for a very long time, since Legion was my all-time favorite expansion, and a remix version of it I think is going to be even better than Mob Remix ever was. So of course I'm super excited for it. But getting started with Legion Remix for a brand new player or somebody who played Classic WoW or one of the retail WoW expansions can definitely be a bit of a weird experience, because Legion Remix does not play by the same rules whatsoever. However, if you know what you're doing and how to start correctly, you can actually have a much easier time within Legion Remix, which means you'll be able to make a powerful character super easily, grind bronze even faster than ever before, and level a character faster than everybody else. So for today's video, I wanted to do a step-by-step guide on everything that you should do first when getting a brand new character started with Legion Remix, in order to make sure that you are focused on the right things to chase after, to make sure you're not wasting your time and are trying to make the most powerful character possible. As always, if you guys want to see more guides for Legion Remix, as well as any other content within War Within or Midnight Alpha, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. First things first, you should be aware how currencies function within Legion Remix and which ones you should focus on first, because there's a bit of a pecking order with all the currencies. Like, some of them should be prioritized ahead of others, but it's not really obvious from the get-go. First things first, you have currencies such as bronze. Bronze is no longer tied to any player power progression, so you can spend it however you want to, as long as you're not, like, over cap on it and getting close to that 500,000 bronze cap. Spend it as much as you want to, buy whatever you like. It really doesn't make that much of a difference anymore when it comes to making a more powerful character. The next currency is infinite power, which is what powers up your weapon. This is what allows you to progress your weapon with additional abilities and pick up new skills, but grinding for infinite power can take some time. So before we want to get infinite power, we actually have a currency that's even more important, and that is infinite knowledge. Infinite knowledge multiplies how much infinite power you have per point of infinite knowledge. So ideally, the pecking order is you should focus on getting infinite knowledge as your top priority currency out of all of them, because that will allow you to get more infinite power. And the more infinite power you can get on your character, the stronger they become, so you can dive into more difficult content and even solo that content, which allows you to get a ludicrous amount of bronze. This is why infinite knowledge is the best currency to focus on. So anything that awards you more infinite knowledge is going to be it should be your highest priority above everything, since it has a snowball effect for literally every other currency available. Now, as for the actual step-by-step guide of what you should do on a first character is, first of all, open up your map, or rather your warband screen, and then use the map icon in the warband drop down. This allows you to unlock all of the flight paths, and if you've unlocked any of them in Legion previously outside of Legion Remix, you will immediately gain all of them on a character, which will allow you to get a bunch of bronze for exploration, but also unlock any of the achievements regarding the exploration and flight paths, which is necessary for completion for some of the zones. Something you can do really easily. My chat had to point out to me that you could do this immediately to get a bunch of currencies from the get-go, so do this literally first things first on a brand new character. But when you make your first time run a character, you'll be prompted with an intro questline, which you should just focus on, and focus on the main story questline that the game provides you. This will help you unlock your artifact weapon, this will help you get some additional gear, and this will also prompt you to go and open up and unlock your class order hall and actually get your artifact weapon for real this time around, which you should do so immediately. It also is not a bad idea for you to go and get the other class order hall weapons as well, or class AP weapons specifically, especially if your class has multiple roles like tanking or healing. It generally is a good idea to do this as early as possible, just so you have all your weapons unlocked immediately. Next, the intro quest will also have you visit the Bazaar, which is this little island to the south of Dalaran that has all the vendors. I usually just call it the vendor island, but this is going to be the place, a hub that you can't really find easily, but it is south of Dalaran specifically on the little island. It'll be pretty easy to see because it has a big bronze orb all around it. That place is going to be something that you will be coming back to fairly regularly. In fact, the game will even throw you consumables to let you teleport here temporarily. So you will be visiting this place pretty often as you're questing, so keep coming back to this place specifically for research quests. Research quests are passive quests that you'll be completing while you're still working on the open world content, the dungeon content. It's just something that you don't necessarily have to focus on, but something that you'll naturally complete a lot of the times over time passively while you're focusing on other things. And at all times, you want to have research quests running in the background permanently, always, as best as you can. The more of them, the merrier. So you can work on them slowly but surely while you're doing the story quests and the zone quests and various different objectives like dungeons and raids to be able to further power up your character. So have research quests running at all times in the background always. Now, once you have all those research quests running in the background, focus on completing story quest zones. The best zones to start questing in are going to be Val'sharah and Stormheim. They're the most straightforward zones. The quests themselves aren't super far apart. Talking about the story quests and the side quests, which you will want to go and complete at some point. Those are fairly quick zones and they're pretty good overall. All the locations and all the important areas are tied together. These are also zones that have a raid in those zones specifically, like Trial of Valor in Stormheim and Emerald Nightmare in Val'sharah. And there are some achievements for zone completions, so the faster you can unlock those zone completions, plus the raids of the zones, the faster you'll be able to get more knowledge, as well as other unique rewards for the zones as well as part of the Legion Remix experience. But that's part of the reason why you want to complete them as quickly as you can, because they're good zones. You can get a lot of XP without leaving that zone specifically, and the raids themselves will allow you to get additional early advantages until we unlock new raids and more content in future phases within Legion Remix. Another advantage to completing the actual main story of a zone, which you should really complete the entire zone, but completing the main story allows you to get a huge boost in terms of the amount of EXP you can earn, plus allows you to earn a bunch of Legion Remix specific rewards as well. But you'll also be able to get these perfected epoch mementos, which give you a warbound bonus on a character for 10% additional bonus XP that you can obtain. You actually get a bunch of these throughout your Legion Remix experience. You get some for doing the intro quests, you get one for reaching level 40, and you get one for completing every single zone as well, which means that you'll get more EXP to level faster and faster on a brand new character, which is part of the reason why we want to complete a lot of the zones completely, at least the storylines. But you actually also want to go out of your way to do even more for each and every single one of the zones to make a much stronger character. Outside of the main story questline, you also want to complete the lore runner achievements for that zone. So you'll be stuck in Val'sharah and Stormheim for a while, but they're probably the most straightforward zones for you to get through, as completing the lore runner, which means the main quest and every side quest, allows you to unlock additional knowledge in order to make a more powerful character. While you're also doing this at the same time, if you are interested in the hard mode or heroic world tier, which I'll talk about here in just a second, while you're questing out the open world, slaying demons with affixes also could potentially get you additional knowledge as well. So that's something you could do while you're still questing in a zone. Completing dungeons for Legion Remix also can grant you additional knowledge, so that's something you could do while you're questing, queuing for dungeons. And when you completed every single dungeon in Legion Remix, you will get even more knowledge for basically doing the entire dungeon run. Also, the 2 raids that are currently available, as well as future raids, will also offer you knowledge for doing a full complete raid run. That means defeating every single boss of that instance. Right now we have Emerald Nightmare as well as Trial of Valor, so getting those completed at least once on a character is worth it. However, dungeons as well as raids are in a daily lockout, not a weekly lockout. So you can run them as much as you want to, and technically you can make them part of your daily activities, daily raid runs, in order to be able to get additional XP, additional power progression, gear as you level in a character, and you can actually start doing even the raids at level 20. So definitely worth doing as part of your daily activities, but at least you should do them once for that knowledge gain specifically. And another achievement that can be easily completed while you're focusing on those things is the infinite power, unlimited power achievement, which also grants you more knowledge. But if you're building on knowledge, you're going to be able to have an easier time getting infinite power, which will mean you'll get even more knowledge. So more knowledge awards you power, which gives you even more knowledge. So it's perfect. It is one of those achievements that you'll accomplish completely passively, but focusing on infinite knowledge immediately from the get-go will mean that this achievement will be just a freebie and an easy one to acquire over time. Now, another question that I had from you guys is the heroic world tier worth enabling? And I think you should enable it. You can do so from the bazaar. There's an obelisk in the background which you can interact with that allows you to enter into this harder mode of open world content. And it is significantly harder. Enemies are scarier, they scale a lot faster. A lot of the casted abilities can be terrifying, especially when you pull one too many of them, or even just a one big enemy that's an elite that also is affixed. So that means they have additional bonuses and additional strength for every single affix that they run. So yeah, it is definitely a much harder version of open world content. However, the rewards of experience and power gain are massive and definitely difficult to overlook. It is insanely worth it if you can do this efficiently. If you're dying a lot and having to do a lot of corpse running, then you're not really doing this super efficiently. I think it's still worth giving Heroic World Tier a try to see if you can weather the storm that is this new form of open world experience. If you are having a hard time with it, they do give you an extra ability to take you out of it, even out in the open world, so you don't even have to interrupt your questing journey and run back to the bazaar and then run back to continue questing. You can just do so from where you are located immediately to exit this mode instantly. So it's definitely worth doing, I think, at least at the very beginning. And if you can hang, the amount of rewards you can get out of it in terms of experience and power is definitely worth it. There's also other rewards that you'll be able to obtain for doing heroic world quests and open world activities in the future. But while you're leveling a new character, it's worth enabling if you can play with it efficiently. However, if you're struggling, I don't think it will be worth your time. But to recap everything that we talked about here so far, focus on trying to get as much knowledge as humanly possible. It is the best resource that's just going to snowball, buff up all of your other resources that you'll gain during Legion Remix, and it'll result in a more powerful character so you have an easier time blasting through the content. Get your infinite research quests done as early as possible. Have them running in the background as soon as you can, as they're going to be overall huge for your character progression. Get your daily dungeons and raids done if you're looking for a bit of a bump to your resources as well as XP, but definitely do them at least once for that knowledge immediately. Heroic World Tier is a choice, and that's really up to you whether you make that choice, but at the end of the day, what you should be doing is continuing to quest and complete zones, starting with Val'sharah and Stormheim early, as well as getting all the other zones done as well. Focus on completing these zones in their entirety, as it will allow you to create a more powerful character so you can have an easier time through the rest of the Legion Remix experience. And definitely get those main story questlines done as soon as possible for all the zones, as it'll provide you a significant buff to XP gained, and that'll make leveling your character as well as any future alts in the future much easier going forward. But with that being said, as always, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys did enjoy this Legion Remix video. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give this video a like, as I would very much appreciate that. Also, be sure to join our Discord community, especially if you want to just keep track with all the Legion Remix updates and even guides, which will be posting some more information there as well. Anything new regarding Midnight, as well as if you got any questions regarding any of the upcoming content in general. Pretty good place to reach me directly. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.